Hello. Just a quick sound check. Okay, perfect. Hey, so this video, you know the drill. More fragrances. A lot of these I have tried. I saved, I think only two or three that I didn't try yet. I don't know which ones I'm going to review in this video, but one person did request Invictus Victory Elixir, and I already planned on reviewing that in one of these videos. So let's just start off with Invictus Victory Elixir. This is from a Facebook fragrance group, Australia Facebook buy, swap, and sell fragrance group. So the people in that group are always really helpful, great people. If you are in Australia, you should join that group. And if you are not in Australia, don't worry, because there's other Facebook groups. Depending on whatever country you're from, you should have your own Facebook group for whatever country you're from. So this one is like, I have tried it. So let's give it a spray and I'll tell you what I think about it. But this is not going to be a first impression or anything, because I did try it. It was like one of the first I tried. And I gotta say, I like it, but there's some things I don't like. So I think at the moment, this has got quite a bit of hype around it. People are actually glad that Paco Rabanne have put out a good fragrance. So really happy for those people that have found the Paco Rabanne fragrance for them. Especially from the Invictus range, because Invictus is kind of like, I don't know, it gets a lot of hate. That entire lineup of Invictus gets a lot of hate, and I think it's just mainly because the original Invictus became really popular, and then a lot of people started hating on it. Invictus kind of got that stigma around it of being, like hated. Even though Invictus is a nice fragrance, it's been cloned a million times. If you look at like Rosasi Hawass, Nishane Caragos, or maybe that's a little bit different than Invictus. Similar style. You also have like Valentino Uomo, born in Roma, which is also very similar to Invictus. There's other Invictus style fragrances anyway. But this is part of the Victory line. So Invictus Victory, which is a completely different take, that is mainly Tonka black pepper style. I do like Invictus Victory, the original. It's a nice, like musky, creamy Tonka vanilla, a little bit of like pink pepper in there, and I do like the original Invictus Victory. And I will say, this already, it's got some things in there I don't like, but it smells good. There's just some things that I could pick out that I don't like. It has this caramel praline smell to it. It's got a little bit of that sugary sweetness. As with a lot of sugar fragrances, it does get a little bitter, a little bit of a not burnt smell, but like burnt sugar has this like really, it's like a bit of sweetness to it, a bit of sweet smell. But that's amplified in this with pink pepper. I think the pink pepper actually burns my nose a little bit. So the one thing I really wanted from Invictus Victory was a creamy, smooth fragrance. Creamy and smooth. And I don't really get that creamy, smooth smell. But this has similarities to other fragrances too, like Scandal by Jean Paul Gaultier. Yeah, it's got some similarities to the original Invictus, but this is like, it's got a fruity twist to it. So this is like fruity. It's got like this, I want to say almost like a coconut smell to it. It's got like a coconut smell. There's a little bit of like this fruitiness. There's a caramel smell to it. It's also peppery. You can smell vanilla tonka, but the pink pepper and coconut smell kind of overpower it a little bit too much. It is musky as well. So I wrote down some notes the first time I tried this, just on my laptop, and I'm just gonna look for my notes quickly. Give me 1 second. Okay, so the other thing I noticed in here is like this powdery cardamom smell. Just 1 second. I want to show you. There's some birds here. You see this bird sitting. He's just like sitting there. Hey, birdie. That's Australian magpie bird. They're absolutely beautiful birds. And this little fella comes here, comes to say hello. There was 2 of them sitting there just a minute ago, but yeah. Anyway, Invictus Victory is tonka, vanilla, pink pepper, with some aromatics, with some caramel in there. So the aromatics is like a lavender, pink pepper obviously. There's like a cardamom powderiness to it. I don't know if it is powder or like more of a musky smell. I think it's a little bit of both. A little bit musky and powdery at the same time. So it does have this bitterness to it, which I think is from the aromatics, like the pink pepper, cardamom. I think there is lavender in here. I get like this lavender smell too. Just an aromatic lavender. Musky sweet. That caramel praline type of smell in there. Coconut. I don't know if there is coconut, but it's got like that dryness, that dry coconut smell. It could be wood, or it could just be a very dry tonka, but it smells quite coconutty. Oh yeah, and that's right. In the dry down actually, you get more of this patchouli smell. So on my computer, I said I get like a gasoline patchouli smell. So the dry down starts to develop this gasoline smell, which is, it's not really a bad thing, but I think that is from like patchouli. Usually the gasoline smell would be like a violet, or a violet leaf, or a violet, some kind of violet note. But this is like patchouli. Hang on. Look here now. The other bird's back. But yeah, you get like this gasoline smell, which is very interesting in this fragrance as well. So this is like what people would usually refer to as a clubbing scent, but I don't really think it is. I think it's a little bit mature, actually. I think this is more on the mature side. So I think because of how musky this is, it is quite mature. It's got like this mature, musky smell to it. And you could say it's a little bit more for teenagers as well, though, because of that tonka bubblegum smell in there, the caramel. Even though it's got gourmand notes, I don't think it's like an edible gourmand. It's not like something I'd want to eat. But I like that fruity smell. I think the fruity smell I was getting is like plum or something. It's got like this plum kind of smell. And I actually said that when I smelt Scandal, Jean-Paul Gaultier Scandal. I thought I was getting this like plum smell in there as well. But I don't think I was. I think that's just my nose. Something sweet and fruity. But anyway, I think that's pretty much the main things I had wrote down. Okay, yeah. The fragrance I would compare it most to would be Scandal, but also Serge Lutens has a fragrance called Un Bois Vanille, or Un Bois Vanille. I don't know. There's like a Serge Luton fragrance. And that has that plum, licorice or plum note in there or something like that. So I do get similarities with that. It's got like this licorice plum smell to it. It's a little bit dark and fruity with like this really vanilla-y like smell. Yeah, it's not the best description, but I like some things about this, but I think it is a little bit overrated actually. It's not bad. I think the very first time I tried this, I liked it a lot more, and then after the second and third time I tried it, up until this point now, I'm kind of like liking it less and less. The first impression was definitely better than the impression I have of this now. So that's just, if I had it on the first impression video, I would have loved it, you know. So just goes to show you should try a fragrance more than once. Okay, so next, let me just look at the fragrances I haven't reviewed yet. I've wrote it down on my computer somewhere. Matcha 26. Okay, yeah, we'll go Matcha 26 because I haven't tried that yet. It's somewhere in here. Here we go. Le Labo Matcha 26. This video is going to go for ages. I already know it. It's been talking for like 11 minutes now. So Le Labo. Come on. Matcha 26. I haven't tried this. This is one of those fragrances I didn't try because it has a little bit of hype around it, and I did want this to be a first impression. But there is like a weird curry smell on the outside of the bottle. I'm not sure if that's just from this packet, but I get this weird curry smell. So I really hope that hasn't affected the fragrance at all. Let's give this a spray. Oh no, I should probably not rub that in actually, just because I don't want to get that curry smell on anything. Oh, wow, it's not a wow fragrance. I just mean like it surprised me a lot actually. That is actually fresh. Fresh, citrusy, green. I expected it to be a green fragrance. I didn't expect it to be this citrusy. Okay. I get, almost instantly, I get a lime petitgrain smell. A lime and petitgrain. And I've said this in other videos before, but petitgrain and green tea kind of smell the same to me when used in the fragrance. They get like this, a little bit of a toilet spray smell. It's a very green, a harsh green smell. So it's like, smells a little bit cheap. But I also smell fig. I get like a fig, petitgrain, lime smell in this. And it's, yeah, that's weird. This is like a citrus, fig, petitgrain smell. This actually, I'd say what it reminds me of. Acqua di Parma, Fico di Amalfi. It's actually a little bit similar to that. I did not expect fig, like the smell of fig, or citrus. I'm just thinking there might be a floral in here too. What is that? It's like, it's actually, it's okay. You know what? I think because I had no expectations for this, or I expected it to be a lot worse than it is, it surprised me a lot, you know? I think I smell ginger in there. It might be ginger or something. So that's going to be my notes. I'm just going to take a guess and say lime, petitgrain, or green tea. I'm going to say fig, ginger, What else? I want to say there's a floral in there, but I don't know what it is. It smells a little bit watery. If there is a lotus or a cyclamen, it's like a little bit like a is it a lily? Ooh, I don't know if it's a lily. I think it's lotus. What is it? Let me just mentally run through all the florals that are usually in a fragrance. So there's like jasmine, orange blossom, neroli, gardenia, hibiscus, cyclamen, lotus, rose, saffron. I don't really think it's most of those. I think it's more like it's not lily of the valley. I don't think it's not peony, and it's not a narcissus. It's tagetes. It may be like a tagetes smell, which is a marigold. It's marigold, tagetes marigold smell. It's got a little bit of that black excess DNA in there, so maybe it's grapefruit instead of lime. So it may be like a tagetes flower or like a lotus or cyclamen, something like that. I don't think it's magnolia because I've smelled magnolia quite a few times now in fragrances, and it's quite a strong floral that I am pretty good at recognizing most of the time. So actually, I'm going to look on Fragrantica before I'm here for too long. Let's look on Fragrantica at the notes. Matcha 26. And I just want to say this does not smell like Wulong Cha by Nishane. I think Wulong Cha is disgusting. So just putting that out there. I think this is closer to like Fico D'Amalfi by Layla Beau. And there you go. So the ingredients are fig, matcha, cedar vetiver, and bitter orange. Interesting. I could definitely smell that fig. It does come across as quite fruity, and the orange is actually more like a grapefruit or lime smell. Very interesting. I think this is actually an okay fragrance. Would I wear it? No, but I do think it's very fresh, green. I think this is a unisex fragrance. Summery fragrance, something you'd wear for summer. It smells quite Italian. It has a very Italian smell to it, like the Acqua di Parma kind of Fico D'Amalfi smell. Probably good for Italian climate. Yeah. I can't say too much about that. Can't comment on the performance or anything, but very interesting. As you know, I'm not a fan of fig or green tea, but that is probably one of the better fig fragrances I've smelled. But yeah, it does smell a little bit like toilet spray, so keep that in mind. It's still got that cheap toilet spray smell. And next is by Sora Dora. And this one's called Broceliande by Sora Dora. This was the very first fragrance from Sora Dora that I've actually tried. And okay, so this is it's gonna sound weird, but the dry down smells like bad breath. It's got this very animalic, bad breath, musky, civet smell in the dry down. And it's I don't want to swear, but it's absolutely horrible. So where this fragrance shines is actually the opening. Because the opening of this, fantastic. Okay? Now that opening is exactly why I like the fragrance. The opening is heavenly. It's a citrus vanilla. It's this creamy citrus vanilla in the opening. It's so good. It's like Xerjoff Lyra crossed with Acro Bake. So citrus, vanilla. there is rum in here, so I'm going to say I already know some of the notes. There's like a rum. And you know how much I love Lyra, Acrobake, and there's a little bit of that Navitus Siesta Drive smell in there too, because it is quite citrusy. This is more citrusy than Lyra. Not quite as citrusy as Siesta Drive. So this is more closer towards Acrobake. If anything, this is like the most similar to Bake by Acro. At least in opening. And then the dry down, you get this horrible civet, bad breath, animalic, musky smell. And the dry down is disgusting. It's off-putting. It makes this fragrance unwearable at all. Like, you cannot wear this fragrance because people will think you haven't brushed your teeth. They'll be like, someone's breath stinks. So I'm so ashamed at the dry down because this fragrance could have been amazing. The dry down, horrible, but the opening, okay, I'll say the opening is at least amazing, right? But I have written down some more notes on my computer. The opening is like this fizzy lemon, like a fizzy lemon candy sherbet type of thing with the cheesecake smell. So it's got like a little bit of that sweet cheesecake creaminess to it. And then it's got that Lyra Acrobake Siesta Drive kind of smell. Maybe a little bit of even Chanel's Allure Homme Edition Blanche. A little bit of that DNA in there, the Chanel Allure Homme DNA going on. So I'm going to just say I guessed the notes were lemon, musk, vanilla, ginger, and cardamom. And that was my first guess. But if I had to guess now, I think I would say there's probably like caramel or some more gourmand notes in there because it's in the same style as Xerjoff Lyra, which I think is like licorice, some like cake notes or caramel praline or something. I don't know. Like, I know Lyra is a gourmand fragrance, but I also remember there being rum in here. I looked at the notes once, and I did see there was that civet note, and there was rum in there. So they're the two things I remember from the notes, because that smell, I wanted to know what the smell was, and it was like that bad breath smell, which comes from the civet note in there. So with that said, I'm gonna just recheck the notes now. Let me just look. What's it called? Broceliande. Okay. Okay, yeah, so the notes were rum, lemon, lime, vanilla, caramel, ginger, cinnamon. So there's two types of animalic notes in here, which are castoreum and civet. Castoreum is actually the musk from a beaver, and it smells very much like vanilla, apparently. It's like a vanilla-y type of musk. From an animal, but I'm pretty sure these days they use a synthetic castoreum because you can't use real animal castoreum anymore. I'm pretty sure it's banned, so it would be a synthetic castoreum. But then that civet note, that's the bad breath animalic smell you get in here. And then there's also sesame, coriander, and iris in there. So there you go. On paper, the notes look amazing. And that is reflected in the opening, because the opening does smell amazing. It's just that dry down, the animalics come out, it just ruins the fragrance a little bit too much. So I would like to see a flanker to this without the animalic notes. Take out the civet, take out the castoreum, because what's the point in smelling like an animal? People don't want to smell like that. Like, why would you want to smell like an animal? Even though I understand the whole leather thing, same can be said about leather. Why do you want to smell like leather or an animal? Same thing can be said about alcohol. Why do you want to smell like alcohol? If you're going to use an alcohol in the fragrance, you should blend it in a way where it makes it either more fresh or it kind of complements the other ingredients. So you don't smell like alcohol. You use the alcohol in a more smart way to enhance the other ingredients. So, right, like I talk about often, gin, absinthe, like vodka, they can be very fresh. You can use like a rum in a way where it's like very gourmand and edible. That's like in the case here, that's what they've done. So the rum in here is actually really good. I don't think that's the problem. So anyway, this is I want to say unisex fragrance because it's very much like Lyra and all those other ones. So yes, it is unisex. I do like the opening. I just think it's not wearable because of the dry down. So next, I'm going to have to try and remember what fragrances I haven't reviewed yet. So, In Love with Everything, CK, Lemon Island. Okay. So they're probably in here somewhere. Let's go In Love with Everything by Imaginary Authors. Okay. Imaginary Authors, In Love with Everything. Okay. Oh, that was a big spray. This one I also smelled and I have mixed feelings about it because I like some things about this and I don't like other things about it, but I would say I get this very nice raspberry. The raspberry in here is done very well. Florals in here are done very bad. So it's a very floral raspberry fragrance. Just gonna say that. The florals are too old, too mature. It smells like an old lady. It's got a very pot puree type of smelling rose. So pot puree is disgusting. This smells like old ladies and roses. However, then you get this really nice fruity raspberry. It's actually one of the better raspberries I've ever smelled in a fragrance. It doesn't have a plastic smell to it. So this is a raspberry that smells good. Besides that, I did write down some notes. Musky, pot puree, raspberry, sandalwood, black pepper, and then there's like some type of alcohol. I think it's whiskey. I said it's quite spicy. The rose is very jammy. And then I think there's probably some similarities there to like Byron Mula Mula. And maybe like Xerjoff's La Capitale. So with Byron Mula Mula and Xerjoff La Capitale, if you don't know, they're very woody raspberry fragrances. So like I've talked about a lot, raspberry is often used with oud or wood or leather. And I'm not really the biggest fan of using raspberry with like oud, leather and wood. So this is a little bit like that. However, this is almost like Kajal Lamar actually. So what they've done with Kajal Lamar, it's like a pineapple, passion fruit, or apple. I think it's pineapple, apple, and rose. So instead of using like passion fruit or pineapple, I think it was, they used raspberry in this. So this is like a raspberry rose fragrance. It gives off a little bit of that Kajal Lamar smell, but then the wood in here, I think it's wood or caramel or something like that. You get more of a like a Byron Mula Mula, Xerjoff La Capitale smell in there, while being completely different. So this is still its own fragrance. It doesn't really smell like anything exactly, but it does kind of take ideas from like Kajal Lama, Byron Mula Mula, Zerjov La Capitale. It's kind of like taken a bit of those, and then it's added its own twist. The rose in here, because it's like pot puree, I think that's the weakness. If it didn't have that jammy rose that I absolutely hate, it would be a lot better. So the dry down, I said it smells more woody and bitter, like a bitter cacao smell you get in the dry down. And then I also said, sugar notes as well. And I was wrong. I was wrong about one thing. It smells more like Venom Incarnate by Stephanie Humbert Luca. So I was talking about all those fragrances that it takes a little bit of each from. I think it takes more from Venom Incarnate than everything else, right? So you have Venom Incarnate by Stephanie Humbert Luca, and then you add a little bit of that Kajal Lamar smell in there, okay? So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that guess. Raspberry, sandalwood, some type of alcohol. I'm not sure what it is, but yeah, I'm not sure what kind of alcohol that is. But sandalwood, I think like a bitter cacao, sugar, jammy rose, musk, and what else did I write down? Black pepper, or I think I said whiskey. Yeah, I don't know about whiskey. Maybe whiskey, I don't know. Yeah, they're my guesses for the notes. I'm gonna just quickly pull up the notes. What's it called? In Love with Everything. So the notes are sugar, sandalwood, raspberry. It's got fruit punch note in there, so I'm not sure what a fruit punch is in terms of ingredients, but I'm pretty sure it's like it's got a lot of pineapple juice inside of a fruit punch. So that pineapple smell, that's probably what makes it smell like Kajal Lamar. The pineapple, if there is pineapple, it would be in the fruit punch, which is the type of alcohol, I think. Yeah, so that fruit punch smell it's in there, but there's no rose or florals, which absolutely has surprised me because this is a very floral fragrance, and yeah, it looks like a lot of people in the reviews just saying it smells like a teenager's fragrance, like a candy or something like that. So it really surprised me because a lot of people in the reviews aren't mentioning floral notes. They're saying it's pretty much like a juicy, loud, teenager's girly fragrance. I completely disagree with that. Nope. It's a very old, mature, floral, jammy rose fragrance, in my opinion. Okay, so moving on. I've got to finish this video real quick, so this next one's got to be really quick. So, what's one that I haven't reviewed or one that I have reviewed? Okay. Let's do it. CK Summer. CK Summer 2013. We're going back in time to 2013 to an old... I don't even know how old it is, but this one, it's not new, if you put it that way. Sorry. CK, they usually release the summer once a year or every 2 or 3 years. They release a new CK Summer. So this has been going on since like 2011, maybe before then. But I know that I like a lot of the other CK Summer fragrances, and I wanted to try some more. So this one, my sister doesn't like it. Weird, because this is exactly her style fragrance that she would usually go for. She just doesn't like this. I don't understand, but she said it smells like cucumber, so I guess she doesn't like that cucumber smell in there. I actually do like it, and she's not wrong. This immediately has a Nautica Voyage smell in the opening. By the way, my sister loves Nautica Voyage, and I actually like it too, so I like this because of that Nautica Voyage smell. But it's weird how she can like Voyage but hate this. Don't really understand my sister sometimes, but that's what she said, so let's just be quick with this, okay? Melon, cucumber, apple. One of those three, or maybe two of them. Cucumber, apple, melon. There is a floral in there. The floral, I'm going to say maybe jasmine. No, maybe a lotus. Ooh, I don't know actually. There's definitely like a greenness to it, a floral note in there, a little bit of woodiness, but mostly fruity aquatic. So it's an aquatic fruity fragrance. Very synthetic and cheap smelling, so it does smell cheap synthetic, just like Nautica Voyage. But it's very fresh. I do like this a lot. These are the types of fragrances I would spray on after a shower, just when you want to smell clean and fresh. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've written down notes, so let's try and find them. Okay, so I said cheap, synthetic, fruity, aquatic, soapy, smells a little bit like Nautica Voyage, and Jaguar Classic Black. So Classic Black is an apple, has a really nice fruity apple, but then it disappears pretty quick, and it's just like a pretty simple, fresh fragrance. I think there is cardamom or lavender in Classic Black too, so maybe that's in here. The green smell, I think that is a violet leaf or fig leaf. Maybe it's a currant leaf, like a cassis they call it. Apple, melon, aquatic type smell. Yeah, you know you're ready. Maybe it's green tea instead of violet leaf or fig leaf. That floral I said was probably lotus or cyclamen. The reason I said that was because of Azare Chrome, the original. Azare Chrome has this aquatic smell with this watery lotus. No, it might be cyclamen actually, but anyway, Nautica Voyage has a similar thing going on with, like, I think it's lotus or cyclamen. There is some type of floral note in there as well. So I think this is inspired by Nautica Voyage, or maybe Voyage was inspired by this, something like that. But this is very unisex. Nice, fresh, simple, cheap, synthetic. There's not much else you can say. This is a pretty basic blue fragrance. So when you think of basic blue, this is pretty much what you would think of, with a little bit more of a fruity twist to it, and a little bit more green and floral as well. So with that said, let's finish the video and just rank these real quick. Ooh, this is a tough one actually. Which one do I like the most? You know what? I'm going to have to rank it in order from what I personally like. So I'm going to be biased here, but I'm also going to try and think about what's the most wearable in public. I think CK Summer is probably my favorite and the most wearable. So that's the best. Second best, I'm trying to think between Matcha 26 and Invictus Elixir. You know what? I'm going to say Matcha 26 is the second best. The reason I say that is just because I think Invictus Elixir is too peppery. It's not as smooth as I would have liked. If it was a creamy, smooth fragrance, it would be my favorite. It's just not creamy and smooth enough. I do prefer the original Invictus Victory over the Elixir one. So that's my top 3: CK Summer, Matcha 26, Invictus Victory Elixir. However, Broceliande has the best opening by far out of all of these. If this didn't have that bad dry down, this is miles ahead of all the other ones in terms of the opening. The opening of this is just amazing. So it sucks to rank it 4th, but I would still probably wear that over In Love With Everything. Because this, I think this is too feminine, too floral, and a little bit too old lady-ish for my liking. It's actually a very strong fragrance. So this has actually got great performance. This lasts a long time. It's super strong. I think this is going to be a very cloying fragrance. But overall, yeah, I was actually surprised. Just because the Matcha 26 did surprise me a lot. I didn't expect to like it as much as I do. But you know what? It's alright. None of these fragrances I would buy. I wouldn't buy any of them. I don't think any of them are worth paying for. But you know what? I've smelt a lot worse than all these two, except for the dry down to Broceliande. That's got a pretty bad dry down, but yeah, I have definitely smelt worse than all these before. So thanks for watching. Sorry the video went for too long. I don't think I will edit this, but try and stick around and watch the whole thing. I'll drop the the times in the comments below. So if you want to skip through this video, I'll put the timestamps in the comments and I'll pin the comments. So you can go and click whichever fragrance you want to see me review first or whatever like that. So peace out, guys. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe below.